Is it starting? Is it starting?
Recording. Ruben is recording.
There we go. There we go. It's recording. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Brewcast. I think this is episode 64. We are actually close to 100 subscribers, Talk, when we're on 91 subscribers.
Dude, that's actually pretty.
It's actually.
It's actually a little bit. It's actually a little bit fucking ghastly. I mean, we're doing this. We're coming up to a year, so we get like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but dude, I think we're edging towards the right track because we gained 20 subscribers in like 2 days.
Nah, that's true. Yeah, it's that.
And that's just because that Usman video, dude, that Kamaru Usman video was so popular, which was really surprising. It just suddenly went like balls to the wall. That video just became like gained like 1,000 views in a few days. More than 1,000 views in a few days, which was really cool. And we got some really positive comments on there. One guy, what a legend, was like, this channel deserves millions of subscribers. I couldn't agree more.
It's amazing. It's going to be, the longer we stick out here, it's going to be like the Pareto distribution or whatever, you know? We're just going to we're going to be the top 1% that's just dominating fucking 99% of the views, dude. Surely.
Eventually, dude. But first, we have to get out of this little slump of having zero clout, and then eventually.
We're actually at the bottom of the YouTube dominance hierarchy. You realize?
Right? No, yeah, I know. No, but here's the thing. It's like, look, last year, a lot of the stuff we were doing, it's like we didn't really understand what people were necessarily listening to or looking for, and so we made lots of videos just sort of talking about shit that ended up getting zero, attraction.
Also, just remember that this podcast is not about mass appealing. If you're on this podcast, this is about like civilized high testosterone retardation. Okay, you haven't come here to gain knowledge. You've come here to damage your brain, and that's actually what being high test.
We say that, but the last video I posted was actually a Batman workout program, dude. Like the whole thing just fucking flopped. I know, no, I'm kidding, but yeah, most of what we do is a little retarded. But anyway,
that's how we like it out here. Anyway,
exactly. First thing, guys. Okay, if you personally, actually, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, please. Like the video, okay? If you want high testosterone content, go to the channel. And the second thing is, if you want some sexy merch, okay, some really sexy merch, go to the Brewcast merch shop. I've got a link in the description. Okay, we have new t-shirts. Look at my fucking guns is the one t-shirt. The other t-shirt is by William Wayspear, guys. Shall I compare thee to a scoop of whey? Okay, if you want some sexy apparel to impress your fellow gym bros, okay, then go to the Brewcast merch shop. Today we're talking, about Michael Chandler and whether he's on the juice or not. Okay, because this boy is a thick bowl of oatmeal. Okay, he's come straight from Beletor, and as we all know, Beletor's drug testing policy, okay, is about as thorough as my grandma's cookie recipe. Okay, they just sort of questionnaire you and throw shit together. Okay, there's nothing special about it. It's not like the UFC. Okay, hence why Romero is fucking transferred and is going to be a jacked out of his brain specimen when he fights Rumble Johnson. But sorry, that's besides the point. Okay, he's in the UFC now. He's been drug tested 4 times this year already. If you go to USADA's records, we don't know if that's pee tests or blood tests. Just to lay out the facts, he generally in the off season allegedly he's around 185 to 190, and he cuts down to 155. Okay. He's about, what's his height again? No, I can't remember. What's his height? He's like
172, somewhere around about there.
Yeah, he's like 5'8", I think. What do you think, Topman? First impressions, dude.
It's funny. Like, I mean, the thing is that you mentioned his off season before the podcast. You mentioned his off season weight is 185, which is. I mean, that's a slice of meat. I didn't actually think he was that big, because for being a shorter guy, for being that lean, and then to be a solid 84 kilos, at
Yeah.
that size, it's not. I mean, we'll go into what is fat-free mass indexes or whatever later, but that was a little. That's a little. It's just bigger than I thought it would be for a lightweight. I mean, I expect a lot of like Connor walks around at about 77 kilos. A lot of the guys. Look, I swear, weight cutting's getting fucking just bigger and bigger because I feel like there was a time where the standard was that you were at the welterweight limit and then you fought at lightweight, and now it's like we're seeing plenty of guys who are fucking almost should be fighting at welterweight who are fighting at lightweight.
Well,
So
we're talking Habib basically just weighing in at that 200-pound mark, dude.
right. Look, like that is only now, but yeah, like outside of fight camp, he used to weigh 85 kilos.
But also,
now,
though,
yeah.
yeah, but also he was never as lean as Michael Chandler in the off season either, or even in the cage. Chandler's way leaner. It's not even close. So I understand with Habib because he's still sort of fluffy. Like he's got abs, but he's still like a good, 15% body fat. Chandler walks into the cage. Well, I mean, I'm being conservative here for Habib because I give guys
sometimes like when he's maybe 13 when he fights.
Yeah, okay, 13 when he fights, but I'm being conservative to give them as good of a chance of being natty as possible.
Chandler's like fucking 12. I mean, like 2.
No. I was about to say 13 to 12 means nothing. Chandler is a solid 10% when he walks in, dude. Well, when he weighs in, he's less than 10% when he weighs in. When he walks in the cage, he's probably right around that 10% mark, dude. But
I think he's fucking low. Have you taken a good look at him?
No, again, dude, I'm being conservative here. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, dude. Because it's remember, it's professional sports. Me, when it's pro sports, I start off with the guys are on drugs. simply because like your life depends on doing well at the sport. Of course, you're not gonna of course you're gonna take the precautions that you need to when your livelihood depends on it, right? These guys don't have other day jobs. So you think Chandler is a saucy boy, dude. He's thicker than I thought even. He's actually a bit of a stack of meat. And my theory is that he's on some clan guys. And here's why I say this. Because, dude, on fucking the Ngannou natty or not, and the Kamaru Usman natty or not, okay, you get these morons, okay, in the comment section, who, firstly, you get the morons on the Usman and the Ngannou ones, these, from all accounts, quite racist black dudes. By the way, there's black dudes who schmuck us too, but there's a whole bunch of racist black dudes who are like, you jealous white fuck boys. And then I responded to the guy's comment. I'm like, look, buddy, I can outlift you and I'm half your age. So go suck a cock. If you want to talk about this guy's like coming in here like, oh, you guys have shitty genetics. I'm like, I can outlift you. I could outlift you when I was 15. So shut the fuck up, But either way, and then they say, no, these guys get tested. And it's like, first thing, it is the easiest thing in the world to pass a drug test. And the reason why is because, one, there's half-lives on substances, and then you can't catch them. Two, actually, there's certain drugs that drug tests just can't catch. For example, growth hormone, you can only catch in a blood test or not in a urine test, right? Because growth hormone cells look the exact same as the normal ones in your body, right? Whereas for steroids, it's slightly different. But now let's look at Clan. Here's why I say this. Chandler is really big for a 5'8" guy. And he's not super strong. I've seen videos of him working out, doing squats with somewhere between, 100 and 120 kilos. You don't know if it's 20 kilo plates or 25 kilo plates, And he does these, functional things where he goes from a strength exercise to a movement exercise, guys. He supersets his squats and his medicine ball throws, guys. Okay, it's just so primal. But fucking. I know. It just when the guys do it in the cringy way, it pisses me off a little bit. But here's the point: he's not super strong. I can outlift him, and I'm smaller than he is. Okay, muscle-wise, he is a grown man, but you don't generally expect fighters who aren't focused on getting super strong or big to be bigger than dudes who actually care about strength. Okay, first thing. So here's what I think. He seems to be a little too big. And the second thing is when he gets in the cage, he's got this thinness of the skin thing, dude. He looks like he would bleed out from a paper cut. I don't know if you've seen some of the photos of him just in the cage. He looks very lean. And Clen is not a very hardcore drug, but it promotes muscle growth a little bit, and it does really well at keeping weight down. And so what I suspect, and it also, by the way, it gets out of your system within 6 days. So you can stop taking it a week before the test and show up clean on the test. So in terms of a fight camp, where, let's be honest, they're not going to blood test the fighters because when you draw blood from someone, it fatigues them. I would think that during fight camp, they probably do urine tests because a blood test is actually going to negatively affect the athlete's performance. Point being, maybe they do, maybe they don't. That's just my assumption. But point is this. If his fight camp is 8 weeks, 7 of the 8 weeks he can run clean. The last week, stop because they drug test you right after the fight. Right? They ask for that. They ask for the blood test. And they usually do this, Sometimes they do a pre-fight urine test or they do a post-fight blood test. I think John Jones got caught with the pre-fight. No, was it a post-fight blood test or a pre-fight urine test? I don't remember. But the point is, 7 weeks on clean, last week off clean on the drug test, okay? This is what I think he's probably on if he's on something. Because he cuts a hell of a lot of weight for a guy under 200 pounds. It's like if you weigh 270, cutting down to 240 is not that much. But if you weigh 185, cutting to 155 is a hell of a lot of weight.
Mm.
What do you think, Talkman? Let me in on your thoughts.
To what degree is clenbuterol going to be performance enhancing or might have side effects for athletic performance?
Well, it does well because what it's actually used for, by the way, and this is an interesting thing because I actually think this might be what Usman is on too, because clenbuterol is actually used to treat asthma patients because it has the effect of opening up the bronchioles in the lungs. And so what I've seen people argue on Reddit is that might be what gives these guys the really good endurance because it actually helps open up the respiratory system so that they don't fatigue. But it does, they know studies-wise, it has positive effects on muscle growth and positive effects on fat loss. So it's a mild drug. It's not quite the same as, running a cycle of tests. But it does increase muscle mass and decrease body fat percentage.
Now, you see, that's something which I remember, because I remember briefly thinking about, okay, would these guys be running clean? And then, my kind of go-to thought is, well, it might make you leaner, but, we tend to associate that with, obviously a bodybuilding stage. And you don't really see the obvious performance-enhancing drug effect because it's not obvious to me that fighters are necessarily going to want to take something that's just going to make them leaner. They are going to be looking for,
exactly.
But if it's going to be an assistance of cutting weight, look, I mean, that's the other thing is I also don't know to what degree, personally, I don't know to what degree, like weight cutting has to have fucking diminishing returns, and Izzy points this out like quite correctly. Like there is gonna be a stage where it's like, well, I don't want to nearly die, cutting that extra 4 kilos. Fuck it, I'd rather fight someone and they're 4 kilos heavier than me.
Yeah.
So, but
unless you're Paulo Costa, I mean,
no,
obviously.
People, but I mean, I've even spoken to some of them, my guys at our gym, and they swear that, like, no, that I've felt that 3 kilos, it makes a huge difference. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say.
Of course, yeah.
So, who knows? But anyway, that's obviously going a little bit sidetracked. But it's a good hypothesis. It's a very good hypothesis.
I was floating and saying maybe diuretics, just because diuretics are another drug where they help you lose water weight very quickly, and he loses a lot of water weight. And so I would imagine maybe, for just to respond to what you said about the performance enhancement, if you run those two things together, diuretics I think only come up in a blood test. I don't think they pick them up in a piss test. I'm not sure, might be wrong, guys. But either way, the tests are still not that difficult to time properly. Point is if you run both at the same time, it helps you retain the muscle mass and you get to piss out water like crazy. But sorry, you were saying, dude, I'm listening.
Something which you'll also see, and we saw, and I think I showed it to you, is State Athletic Commission actually revealed the weight of Marvin Vittori and Paulo Costa, and so I'll be interested to see if that's like a new trend that they're getting into, because then maybe, as in they reveal their fight day weight, because then maybe, because it's one thing to take a fighter's word for it, but when in the state Athletic Commission has the official weight, and when they release it, I'd be interested to see in time if they release Michael Chandler's weight on fight day. Because it's not the thing is that in terms of natty or not, I know that you can walk around off camp at 185 and make 155. That's not, maybe you get a little bit fluffy. Maybe you just fucking, you're not ridiculously dehydrated. You can do that on process, but I think how quickly you rehydrate and how much you are able to suck out of you, to me, I think a natty just isn't going to be able to suck out nearly as much volume.
Exactly. And you know what? We were right about that, dude. I don't know if you remember, but when we said, guys, he steps into the cage at like 210, 215, this is what we said. And people were like, yes. And people were like, no, dude, are you kidding me? Like, he weighs in at 185. At most, he's like 195, 200. Even Greg Doucette made a video where he's like, no, guys, you guys, he's not that big, dude. It's like 195, 200. Meanwhile, both of us were right, and he fucking walks in fighting at 215.
No, 100%. Greg Doucette, you actually owe us an apology, because you heard it here first on the broadcast correctly that Paulo Costa wasn't small. Greg Doucette was convinced that Paulo Costa was small. He's like, no, he's skinny, he's fucking. And I'm like, no. I mean, he dwarfed. He fucking dwarfed Jake Paul.
Oh, remember? Well, you mean Logan Paul. And Logan Paul, and Logan Paul's tall. I think he's like 6'4". He's probably about 190. I don't know. I might be wrong on this. But Paulo made him look skinny, dude.
Dwarfed him, yeah.
And the funny thing is Greg was like, no, but if you put me next to him, he'll look small. It's like, there's something guys have to remember. People who are built like dwarfs, the 5'4", like wider than they are tall guys. Yeah. They look very big on photographs, but here's the problem. That guy can be much more muscular than you, but if you're semi-muscular and half a foot taller, you are going to look bigger because you're actually physically a broader human being. You can look bigger than him with half the amount of muscle just because you're actually a bigger human being. You understand? It's like people are like, no, it's all body weight. It's like, no, short people, even though they might be very muscular, will still look small. It's like if you look at 212 bodybuilders who are 5'4", they look super muscular on stage, but watch them in the interview afterwards when the woman who is interviewing them is actually a head taller, right? And suddenly they look a lot smaller than than they did on stage.
For that brilliantly is fucking Usama Palhares, because he's 5'7", but every photo that I see, he mugs people that are like 6'4". I don't know how he does it. Well, actually, I do know how he does it, but
he's got those
a lot of things. But yeah, dude, he's like the only guy. Anyway, back to Chandler. So the other thing is that we're very early into his UFC career, and I do have a feeling, I don't know, call me optimistic, I have a feeling drug testing is going to pick up in the next few years, man. I don't know. I just think it's kind of, I think that there's something that's happening in sort of public awareness where I think, it's becoming like, I mean, it's still one of those things where when you've got Romero and Costa, blasting each other for 3 rounds, and it's just this thing where the narrative of the UFC is, oh well, we introduced drug testing in 2013, and TRT Vitor got fucking kicked out, and we're now a clean sport. And then you actually look at some of the people, and then it's like, come on, everyone knows. It's like it's almost embarrassing. You know, it's almost embarrassing that Dana White is fucking cranked out of his mind and that he's standing in front of everyone at the press conference.
Just mugging everyone.
Like, well, I can assure you there are no fucking steroids in the UFC anymore. Like, bullshit, dude. You're on juice. So, like, you know, you know what I mean?
And we love Dana, by the way. He's a legend. But he's a little saucy, guys. Look at how quickly he became jacked, guys. It's been a year. And he went from... Yeah, no. Well, I mean, it's like, do you know how you know how people are convinced of this? Because the amount of morons, like, let's take the Paulo Costa video, for example. Most of the comments in there were actually pretty positive. But there's still like 20% of the comments that are a bunch of morons saying, no, Paulo's 100% natural. It's like, are you looking at the same guy I'm looking at? And on the Usman video, a whole bunch of people who were like, oh no, he's African, so he's natty. And especially the Ngannou video, dude, that's been the most controversial one because that one's got like 600 views or something now. But on there's literally like so many people who are like, no, he's just African. I'm like, he's 6'4", 275, shripped. It's like, are you living in La La Land, my guy? Like, what universe do you know? It's like, and here's the thing. It's like if people think Paulo Costa is natty, who's gonna think Chandler is on roids? Because Chandler is like half Paulo's size, and people still think Paulo is natty.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look, I mean, that's the sort of general disillusionment from people who aren't necessarily educated.
Exactly.
But the point being is that the fact that you have got educated people, but like, I mean, even Joe on those podcasts, he was like, you know, he was going on about fucking, oh no, Romero, you know, he was going like, oh, do you really think Romero's like not natural with Bisping? And then Bisping goes, you know, hey, fucking Joe, how's that fancy sitting on or whatever? It was a very funny comment, but like one of those things where it is kind of, as I say, as time goes on, as Derek from More Plates, More Dates gets more subscribers, you know what I mean? As I don't see this playing out where, again, you've got that situation where Dana's like promoting, you know, Costa and Romero, and they're saying, no, the drug testing on this one's pretty fucking strict. But again, it's just to any fucking rational human being who knows a little bit about PEDs, you know, who's fucking shares the family brain cell for a change and actually sees what's going on. It's like, you know what I mean? The guy's traps are up his fucking prefrontal cortex. There's no way on fucking planet Earth. But it's something that the UFC is going to have to monitor.
Well,
I think athletes, my feeling is athletes are going to start getting pissed off. Like, I mean,
probably.
Robert Whittaker made a comment on Grange TV where he says, oh, mate, you know, it's just like, it's absolutely fucking bullshit. And I mean, I don't disagree with him.
Dude, I still want him to fight Costa. That fight will be sick. It'll be so cool. Because he doesn't want to fight Izzy now. So it looks like Izzy and Vettori has been made now. And that's going to be the next title fight. Because Dana said he'll give Whittaker the shot because Whittaker's earned it, but Whittaker turned it down. And so it looks like... Yeah, he said he's not Bliss. So it looks like Vettori is going to be the next title fight against Izzy, which will be fun. But I want to see Whittaker versus Costa. But my point is actually this: it's like, do you know how the easiest way to know whether someone can reasonably be natty or not is go to a gym, train for 4 years, okay, get on a good strength program, add in some muscle building shit, eat in a calorie surplus or whatever, try and gain as much muscle as you can, come back in 4 years and tell me if Paulo Costa is natty. And you know what? If you get 10,000 people who do it, you'll have a lot of them who are average dudes. You'll have some people who are, you know, it's 90th percentile. And then if 10,000 people do it, you might have one guy who's in that 99th percentile. And you know what? When he isn't as jacked as Paulo Costa, then suddenly everyone's going to go, oh, fuck. No, he's definitely not natty. You understand what? Or at least that guy is going to go, you know what? My genetics, I grow faster than everyone else. And that guy's definitely not natty. you know. But anyway, so closing remarks. Is Chandler on roids? Yes or no, dude?
Oh, fuck. I must say, I hate getting, like, I still want to say what my heart tells me is true, but I still don't like getting fucking put in the trenches because I'm going to get shot, but no, he's not Maddie. And you know what? I actually, honestly, my gut feeling is that it's not just Clint. My gut feeling is that there's actually some kind of, I mean, my gut feeling is that the guy's fucking on EPO or something.
You reckon? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking,
it's
like, it could
something
be.
about his performance, man. And
Yeah.
and again, I don't want to turn down these elite athletes, but you know the way I know he's also fuck, man. I know his conditioning's insane, and you know there's something about him. And again, look, this isn't. I don't have anecdotal evidence, but that when I look at Chandler, I get Dillashaw vibes. I just get fucking TJ. I get TJ. That's my own
Oh,
involved
jeez.
perception. So when I look at him, I just see
Oh,
EPO. But
dear.
I get there's something about that like wrestling dude who has this background as this amazing scrambly wrestler who, if you look at his wrestling videos with Kamaru Usman, is wrestling with the welterweight dudes, and then you know it's one thing, but then they suddenly get this ungodly striking power. And of course, I know that they're explosive athletes and that they make the transitions. And often these people are, you know, a lot of wrestlers have this weird genetic ability to strike because they're so explosive. So once they learn how to do it, it's fucking dangerous. I'm not discounting.
Unless you're Ben Askren, dude, then you've
Yeah,
got that peak
no,
wrestling performance,
you're
dude.
all, that's all like, you know, fucking concentric contraction. There's just no explosiveness
It's
whatsoever.
just
But
type 2 muscle fibers, dude. Just all
yeah, all,
endurance muscle
all
fibers.
the way, dude.
Yeah. But
Covered
anyway,
in
so yeah.
good fat.
Well, dude,
But anyway,
yeah,
conclusion,
sorry.
conclusion is just that there's just something about that story that's like, oh man, if he gets all I'm saying is if he got busted for something like EPO, I would be like, makes sense. And I think would you be on the same boat if you hear tomorrow
Oh,
news Michael Chandler busted for EPO, fucking suspended 4 years? I'm not
dude,
gonna be
here's
like,
the
oh,
thing.
shock and horror.
Here's the thing.
You know?
In this video, I say what I think he's probably on, but what people don't understand is there's a whole list of substances that don't even pitch up in a urine test, or some not in a blood test even. It's like newest songs don't pitch up in urine tests. Some of them don't pitch up in blood tests because they don't have a test for them yet. Because the stuff, literally, new variations come out like constantly that aren't banned, and then they get added to the list once they're discovered and there's a test for them. There are so many things that he could be on that they don't even test for, or that they probably won't catch him on. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
That's sort of the point. But yeah, that's the end. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, go check out the Brewcast merch shop. Don't be a fucking moron. Okay. If you want some sexy clothing. And secondly, subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because this is a high test channel. Okay. Please get us to 100 subscribers, please.
No, it has to happen anyway. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.